The dude brought me a glass with 2 ice cubes. 2 ice cubes? What am I going to do with 2 ice cubes?
Because that's enough to keep your drink cold without diluting it so much. Hi, welcome back to the castle. Today we're gonna learn something about differences between America and Europe. There were a couple of videos about countries and their difference that we already covered, so you seemed to be very interested in that. And I thought that it would be very nice to have an actual American who also been in Europe. His name is James Bray, I think. To cover up a video about various TikToks or various content where it's talked about how weird some of those countries are. You will get the point once we start. I promise it will be probably very interesting, and it's a bit longer, so maybe get a maybe pause the video now. I'm pausing. And get you a snacky because I probably will ramble a lot, but I'm not sure yet. So I just want you to be comfortable. Let's go. So here's the video, and we just dive in with a TikTok, I guess.
Order coffee in Europe, the hardest thing ever as an American. Can I have a
Really?
coffee with cream, no sugar?
And they gave you cream.
These guys will put whipped cream in my drink.
Admittedly, I was a confused American in.
But she just asked for cream, no? So this is James. Say hi to James. We never covered a video from him, so I hope it will not be taken down like from another new creator that I tried. I already watched one video. It was a bit shorter, so I like the vibe, and I'm very curious, like, because he's American, but he also have been in Europe for a good while, and how, like, his information on it. And as a full-on European who'd never been in America and just know like the classical American type of content or like American type of controversy, stuff like that, it will be like a very fun mix probably. If you want to comment something in the comment section, remember, please be nice and polite. I'm very up for being corrected. I'm very up for getting facts, but just present them in a nice, polite way and don't just like, you're stupid. Please, I just see a lot of things in my comment section sometimes. Let's go.
Europe.
Huh?
This is insane, bro.
Oh yeah, that was in Cologne.
Actually,
I watched that video.
I feel like I had a little bit of an advantage since I did do some research before traveling in that direction. Now, most of my experiences, as you guys can imagine, are going to be related to Germany. I understand Germany is not all of Europe. That's like saying New York is all of the United States, or like saying Texas is all of the United States.
It's very different. But it gives you a brief overview of about a couple things.
Give you my experiences based on where I've gone. Now, the other European countries I've traveled to as well, Belgium and the Netherlands. And I've noticed some similarities between those 3 places, and that was pretty interesting. So if you guys hear me make references to my experiences in Europe, those are the 3 places I'm talking about. And I'm going to continue expanding my knowledge as I travel more and more in the future. You guys have been giving me some good recommendations, but today we're going to be checking out
that would be really
nice Americans that were also just as confused, if not more, when they traveled to Europe for the first time. Some of these people probably lived there for a few years and gave their recollections of what they experienced as far as what was different and what they weren't really comfortable with, what they appreciated more than in the United States. So we're gonna have a lot of that
Maybe also what they missed, that would also be kind of interesting for like to know, right?
Going on. If you guys have any experiences with us Americans out there and stuff, and maybe we were confused or we had some crazy things to tell you guys, let me know in the comments down below. But if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you haven't.
He has a really good vibe. I already checked a couple videos of him. It was always very pleasant to watch, very entertaining and very informative as well. So if you want to support him, please go to his channel. The link is, as always, in the description.
This first post, shall we?
Since I'm American and live in Norway,
Okay.
people ask me all the time if there's anything that I don't like about living in Europe.
Okay.
Generally, I love living in Europe for so many reasons.
Okay.
But there is one thing
Okay.
I don't like. The one thing I don't like is ice, or the lack of ice that I find in Europe.
This is a complaint I hear from so many Americans.
Really? Wait, are you so spoiled with having ice in your drinks, or what is it? Because I personally do not prefer it. It's also not that good for your teeth either, with the different temperature shocks. What is it about?
that traveled to Europe. Now, that was never a complaint for me. When I traveled to Europe for the first time, my experiences are going to be related to Germany since that's where I traveled first. And even Belgium and the Netherlands, oh my gosh, like they didn't really have that much ice or ice at all, right? That came with the drink, but I never thought that they needed to. My mentality, and it was something I was taught when I was little, and maybe my uncle was an eccentric thinker, but I remember being a child with my uncle and we drove through a fast food restaurant. Maybe you guys know of it, Wendy's. And when we went up to the window, you know, we got our meals, but there was something I'll never forget. And it was my uncle asking the cashier to not add any ice to his drink. And he said that's actually a tactic many establishments use so they can preserve resources, right?
I mean, like, I think so. My main reason, let me give you some from input from me too. My main reason I don't like ice in my drink. First, it's bad, not good for the teeth because of the temperature shock. And also it is water. And I would like my drink to be fully, let's say, like a Coke. And the drinks here in Germany and Austria, or if you're like in a restaurant or something, they're already expensive enough. And I don't want them to dilute the drink with ice. And usually the drinks itself are already cold, right? And that is enough for me personally. And I also just don't like, because sometimes some places put a lot of ice in there because that's how they save up money as well, because ice is way cheaper than the actual drink. And so they just dilute it with the ice a little bit. And I personally would like to get what I paid for and not just for half a cup of ice, you know? This is like my two main reasons why I do not prefer ice in my personal drinks. But if you like them, please let me know. Do you like ice in your drinks or no ice in your drink, or like just a little cube? Maybe like sometimes I fancy a little cube in my water, for example, but then I just put it in sparkling water. So who gives a crap? But if it's like a cola or whatever, I would like to not have it in there.
They fill up your cup to the brim with ice. They pour your drink in afterward. And since ice displaces liquid, you are essentially paying for a quarter of the juice.
Oh, he's just mentioning
into said cup. The amount of liquid that's in your cup would be the equivalent of like a medium or a small. So that was like a life hack I learned very young. And when I went to Europe,
it just that is insane. Okay, I did not pre-watch this video, please. Okay, I did not.
I'm like, oh, they're already all on that. Because like when I got to these restaurants and I got to these different establishments, whenever you ask for any beverage, there's no ice in it, which is fine. That's actually something I appreciated. I'm like, whoa, they're not trying to rip you off. That's awesome. So I think it's weird for Americans to travel to Europe and they're like, where's my ice? I can't have my drink without my ice. Hear me out. I know a lot of you guys are probably typing this out as I'm saying all this. The drink is already cold. Why would they serve you a warm drink?
Exactly.
It makes no sense. They serve you a drink cold, and it's expected that you'll drink the drink and eat your food in a timely fashion to where your drink won't be warm or hot. But a lot of people are weird about that. Also, I don't want my drink to be diluted, right? Now, if it's water, that's one thing. But still, I don't want my juices or whatever to be diluted. So why would I add
just
ice
water,
to any of that?
because especially juice, so expensive. Like, I don't even know. It's so expensive even.
If you've been following me, then you know I don't have a freezer. My fridge doesn't have a freezer. I'm going to show you it, but it's the first time in my life that I have ever had a fridge that did not have a freezer. So my ice cube trays, worthless. And I've been to 40 countries now. I traveled all over Europe. And I remember when I very first came to Europe, I think I was in Poland, and I ordered a drink, just like a soda or whatever. And I said, hey, can you bring me a glass with some ice? The dude brought me a glass with 2 ice cubes. 2 ice cubes? What am I going to do with 2 ice cubes?
Because that's enough to keep your drink cold without diluting it so much. Oh my God. I mean, if you're used to it, then of course it is weird. I'm not bashing someone here. If you're used to that and it's like common in America and you grew up with that, of course you kind of think it's weird that you don't have it here. But there's a reason why we don't have it that much here.
Ice cubes. And he talking about, oh, is that enough? Yeah, it's enough to piss me off. Where's the rest of the ice?
That's
Hey,
what I'm talking about, bruh. You don't need no damn ice cubes in your drink.
nah.
This dude was crashing out over him being given 2 ice cubes. Bro, you don't need it. You don't need it. Now, I get it. If you're one of them people that takes a long fucking time to drink your goddamn drink, then maybe you do need ice cubes. And
But then
you
2 are
understand that your
enough.
stuff is going to be a little diluted by the time you're done drinking your drink. But that's ridiculous, bro. 2 ice cubes is more than enough, man. You don't need to fill that thing up with a crap ton of ice. But I'm telling you, he's not alone in how he thinks. Like, this is
Really?
a very common complaint. If
I really want to know if you would just take away the ice now, would you be complaining or not? This is so interesting. I never thought that would be a problem.
you go through the internet and look up common complaints Americans have about Europe, one of the number one complaints is the lack of ice. Again, he's not alone. This is a very common complaint.
Okay.
Fill the glass up with ice, and then I pour in the drink. That's how that works. Yo, for real, I was like, yo, is there like an ice ration? Do we have to
No.
ration ice? Is there not enough water? I mean,
No.
give me the ice. I want the ice. And this was a common occurrence. I mean, Czech Republic, Hungary, Lithuania. I was on the lookout.
It's very cool that you traveled so much, though.
And I was like,
How do you
okay,
afford
hold on.
that?
Another thing I heard about this whole ice debacle, since we're on the topic of ice is not available in Europe. For as much as I like to brag about like Americans loving to walk around with their water jugs, their big, massive gallon water jugs, most of their water jugs are filled with ice. I forgot about that.
Really? For real?
The water jugs I normally get are very well insulated, so I don't have to worry about that. However, again, it's personal preference. I'm not a health coach or a health professional. I'm just here to tell y'all what I heard. You
Okay.
guys can let me know in the comments down below. Actually, you tell me, why don't you guys offer ice with many of the drinks that you guys have out there in Europe?
Every time I get something, it's got
Okay.
1 ice cube, 2 ice cubes, or they don't come with ice at all. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. I mean, there's nothing I want more when I'm hot and thirsty than
Okay, so when you're hot and thirsty, drinking something very, very cold is actually doing the opposite. It might feel good at the moment, but you are drinking so your body temperature usually is like, what is it for humans? 30, 37-ish something degrees in Celsius. So when you put in something that has, let's say with the ice, maybe let's go like 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, right? If you drink that, your body is like, hell nah, I need more heat to warm myself up again. So you just get worse. When you are thirsty and hot in summer and you cannot cool down, drink a temperature room tea or something like that, or just temperature room water. That's already enough. Maybe a little bit warmer tea than temperature room, like room temperature. I'm sorry, I mixed the word up. Like room temperature or a little bit warmer. And this is actually help you with not being thirsty and hot anymore. Because when you drink something very, very cold, or like eating ice, yeah, I get it. Like for example, it cools you down, it tastes nice, whatever. But it will not help you when you are overheating. Not at all. Because your body it's noticing, hey, there's something super cold going on. I need to warm it up to my body temperature. So your body is heating up more to bring up the water that you just consumed with the ice cold water that you just had. Your body wants to bring it up again because your inner core of the body is always around 37 degrees Celsius. And when there's something cool entering it, your body will do everything to warm it up. So it will use more energy to get back to the state, basically. And this is why you should not drink in hot summers. Just drink room temperature water, or maybe a little bit warmer tea, maybe a coffee, to not put more stress onto your body for warming up again. That will not help you.
a lukewarm cola. Are you kidding me? I never realized how truly.
Also, when you are thirsty, please do not try to wash it down with a cola. If you're thirsty, go straight up for water or tea, because cola will make you more thirsty even.
Blessed I am to have ice when I want to have ice.
Who the hell is serving you a lukewarm cola? Okay,
Yeah,
every
nobody.
single establishment I've been to, even the worst
They always cool it
establishments
down.
I've been to in Europe, were all cold. All of the drinks I got were cold.
Because when you don't have ice, it's crazy. Please tell me, am I just being like a pompous American? Because I get to my apartment I'm in now, and then no freezer, right? Then I went to Haugesund, and I was just over someone's house, and I was like, oh man, can I get a glass of ice? Now they did have a fridge with a proper freezer. They had a proper setup there, and they were like, oh no, I don't have any ice. You have a freezer and you don't have ice?
Yeah, because the ice is taking a lot of space that you could use for proper food storage. So why would you use the electricity, the energy that goes into keeping the ice icy or in shape if you could use that to store food for what the freezer actually is?
And I have to move out of
Waste
this
of
apartment
money,
next week.
waste of
And the
resources.
apartment I'm moving into, you guessed it, no freezer. I just want my drinks to be cold. I mean, am I asking too much?
Put them in the fridge! I'm sorry, I'm getting triggered now. Just put it in the fridge. Let it sit there for an hour and then enjoy your cold drink. I put it into the lowest department your fridge offers, and then it will be the coldest it can be.
Europe. Am I asking too much?
No.
Of course you can buy ice at the store. Today is Sunday.
You just don't see why we do this. That's okay.
And all the grocery stores are closed. And then the ones that are open, like the Boone Priest up the street from my house here, it has like a little kiosk type store that's open, and they don't sell ice there. So I have to buy the warm cola.
There's nothing in your fridge. My guy, put those bottles, put them down here. They will be super cold. This is the warmer climate already of the fridge. If you want them be cold super fast or like faster than regular, not the door first of all, and then down here they will cool down, and then you do not even need ice anymore. Like we had my coworker Sugar, she put a bottle of some kind of beverage into the lowest department of our office or like working fridge, which doesn't have a freezer too, and her freaking drink was frozen. Because it was down there. Maybe the settings are a bit too low, but it was just so funny because he's complaining about the stuff is not being with ice, Just put it into the lowest department of the fridge, not into the door, and then enjoy it, and then put it back into the fridge when you had your glass with it, because then it stays cool. That's what the fridge is for. I'm so sorry. Is this rage bait? I'm confused.
Put it in my fridge for whoever knows how long. And when I do buy ice, look at that.
What do you do?
No shit. It's not in the freezer.
No shit there in the middle.
First, I thought I understood what the issue was.
The lack of ice.
And now I'm understanding what the issue is.
Okay, please help me.
Refrigerate his drinks like that for real. Like, brother.
The
fridge does get cold. I know my fridge gets cold. I'm all the way in South Korea. Your fridge gets cold, my boy. So put your beverages in the fridge. It look like your fridge is empty, so you got space. This seems like a non-problem. But again, he's not alone. This is literally one of the top 5 complaints from Americans going to Europe.
I don't understand.
I need to buy a freezer.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so let's get into the comments. Our first comment here is interesting. When I visit the States, I have the reverse problem, and now remember to explicitly ask for no ice, as the ice cubes almost always taste of chlorine.
Ew. Ew.
See, I forgot about that. We do have a lot of chemicals in our water. I forgot about that. But aside from that, I just want as much of the drink I paid for as possible. So unless it's water, I don't want ice in my stuff at all. The beverages they serve you at any establishment are already going to be cold. So adding ice to it is not going to make it any more cold. It's just going to prolong how cold it is, and it's going to dilute whatever beverage you had if it's not water. More ice in your glass means less drink. Duh. And that's what I'm saying. Anyways, let's move on to this next post.
Okay, please.
Why is trying to order coffee in Europe the hardest thing ever as an American.
Okay.
I was in London and Spain, and when I was in London, I was like, can I have a coffee with cream, no sugar? And the barista was not getting it. He was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. I was like, you know, like a regular coffee just with cream. We went back and forth trying to figure it out. And she was like, a drip coffee. And I was like, yes, exactly, a drip coffee. And I stepped aside and I watched her make it, and she's doing everything right.
I'm sorry, Alicia, because that's your name. I'm sorry to follow your TikTok because, man, it's so wonky. My eyes are having real issues. Please buy a gimbal.
Pouring myself a regular drip coffee, and I watch her try to put the cream on, and I was like, what the hell is she grabbing? This lady literally grabs a bottle of whipped cream.
Yeah.
Did you or did you not ask for cream? Now, hear me out. I understand what she's saying, but as a non-coffee
I don't. What is she saying?
Drinker, I do drink coffee, but not regularly. Recently I have, because I've been editing quite a bit. Generally speaking, I don't really drink coffee like that, much less add creamer into my coffee. I'd say within the last year and a half, I actually found out what creamer was, and I was confused because I thought creamer was like actual cream of some sort, like whipping cream or some kind of cream that went into your iced coffee or something. I'm like, huh?
Is she referring to those little cream buckets that you get with your coffee sometimes? I don't like them personally. They just take like diluted milk.
That's weird, but it turns out it's just condensed milk. So if you're in another country and let's say you assume they understand what you mean by cream, after the first, you should probably explain it to them. There's going to be different terminologies for different things, but in this case, it's very straight up. Like you said,
can I have a coffee with cream, no sugar?
And they gave you cream.
With sugar.
Put whipped cream in my drink.
Add no sugar.
No. She's like, what? You said cream. And I was like, no, I meant milk. I'm so sorry. I'm American. Like, when you say cream, that means like milk, blah, blah, blah.
Girl, cream and milk are not even close to there. Yes, cream is inside of milk, but those are two so different products. No, you can't even be upset at the barista at this point. If you want cream in your coffee, you get cream in your coffee. If you want milk in your coffee, you get milk in your coffee. There's no, you can't use this word for something different that you actually wanted and then be upset about it and make a TikTok that gets almost 70,000 likes. This is making me really upset. Like, what the heck? What the heck? No. This is straight up stupid. I'm sorry. If you want milk in your coffee, you say, I want milk in my coffee. If you want cream in your coffee and you mean milk and you're upset because you get actual cream because you asked for cream, use your brain. Please.
Both started bursting out laughing. Anyway, that was one example. Then, when I'm flying back from Portugal, sitting in first class, and I asked the flight attendant, hey, may I have a coffee? She was like, yeah, sure. Do you want a shot of espresso or do you want coffee in a bowl? I was like, I'm sorry, in a bowl. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, you're American. You guys drink coffee in a bowl, right? And I was like,
okay.
No, girl, no.
No.
It's coffee in a bowl. I told her how to make a regular coffee with milk. I ended up getting it, and it was good.
And she said it again with milk. So what was the cream stuff about? You know this word. You know what it is. Just use the proper word.
But like those are just two examples of how difficult it is to like order coffee in Europe. But it was like pulling teeth every single time I said that I wanted a coffee in London, Spain, and Portugal.
No, it's you just have to use the proper word, girl. I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry, but you have to use the right word for the right product. You can't just say, oh, please, can I have these shoes? But with shoes, you mean a hat, and then you're upset because you got shoes. That's not...
Very, very lovely time, but I'm so happy to be back in the States where I can get a big-ass cup of iced coffee.
Yeah, enjoy your coffee.
All right, guys, you know what to do. Light up that comment section. Light up that comment section.
Please.
Because I think, genuinely.
What do you think about? Please tell me about it because it makes me upset. I want to squeeze something. I need one of my plushies somewhere.
the way people get coffee in the United States is entirely different than how you guys would get it in Europe. Okay, very different experience. Again, these are things you should probably look into before you travel. Even though it's not that big of a deal, but it'll avoid situations like this. I do think it's pretty interesting because, again, I can understand the confusion on people in Europe's part, right? They're like, you just asked me for cream, I gave you cream. If you wanted milk, why didn't you ask for fucking milk? Communications.
It's two different things by default. Oh, that makes me upset.
Key. Okay. God damn it. But before I lose my mind, let's check out the comments. You asked for cream and we're confused when you got cream? This is the bullshit we gotta deal with. Okay? You asked me for cream, I delivered, and you complain.
Yeah, why?
The same people that are making these types of videos, turning around and talking about how bad European customer service is. God damn it.
Yeah. What do you mean bad customer service? You're upset because we delivered what you wanted. What?
Next comment. Why don't you just call milk milk?
Yeah!
That's the same fucking point I was trying to make. Why don't you just call it milk?
It's
Anyways,
so different.
next post.
Oh god, oh no, oh god, it's pictures. Okay, I calm down. We calm down. Let's take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in and out. Okay, now we are going for the next one. My god, I want just to squeeze something and break it. Whew.
Why don't you just call it milk? Next post.
So, things that shock me as an American who moved to Ireland and traveled around Europe a lot. Okay. Number one thing is I always talk about I had 29 paid days of vacation per year. This isn't even include holidays. The EU requires all workers to get a minimum of 20 paid days off per year, but most get more. Yeah, I have 30, even as a part-timer, dude. So that is shocking to her. Okay, that is fair because I know it's not typical in America. And then you also have on top the holidays if they're like during the week. Sunday doesn't count because most people have off on Sunday, right? Not like restaurants and stuff like that, but most people have their days off on Sunday. And like, for example, office workers also on Saturday. And then on top of that, you have the vacation, the holidays, I mean, and then another vacation days. Like usually, I think maybe they even increased it now to 24. I'm not sure yet, but I think there was like in the discussion to increase the 20 days to 24 days by default. But most of the friends I have and most what I experience, you usually have like 30 days off from the companies.
Listen. This first slide is very interesting. 29 days of paid vacation is absolutely insane. I genuinely did not realize how much of a problem this was until I saw a wave, a ginormous wave of confusion between Americans and Europeans.
Why?
Like, wait a minute, how are you always on vacation? Like Americans would say this to Europeans. How are you guys always on vacation?
You're not always on vacation. What do you mean?
You guys are always kicking back and relaxing. When do you actually work? And then on the
oh my god.
flip side, Europeans to Americans would be like, you guys are always working. How do you guys claim you have friends and you can barely see them? How do you guys claim to have relationships with your family and stuff and you can't even see them? It's like you live and breathe and eat work. For what? Like, where's the money going? Can you...
Yeah, that is a valid confusion on both parties because you're just not used to that, right? Like we here, I used to our days off plus holidays, and in America it's just not. And you have to keep in mind, right? If you get sick, you also are still being paid. And if you go to a doctor, your doctor gives you a little thingy, a little paper, and this paper proves that you're sick. you give that to your company, and then you still get payment, right? So if you get a cold or if you break your leg and stuff like that, you still get money after, like, the longer you are sick. After a while, just the social systems trigger and kick in. You get a bit less money, but you still get usually enough to cover your bills. I had that. I was sick for 10 months and I was still able to afford my apartment, feed my cats and myself. I did not drive that much, like my car that much, so I did not need that much gas. It was very expensive too. I just try to not drive too much. But I was able to live my normal life, a little bit restricted, but everything was okay. And I don't know who in America can actually do that. Like, I got sick because of my workplace, like physically, and then I got the time to recover properly, so I could go back to the workforce. And if you do that in America, like being not at work for 10 months, you're on the street. No, is it like? Okay, I have a question for the American people. How long could you go, or like how, not you personally, but how long typically Americans could go without working before they are homeless? I think that is very interesting to know, because I know it's a big problem. I know homelessness is a big, big, big problem. And even apartments are sometimes so expensive that people just live in motels because it's cheaper. So that's what I saw on some documentaries, right? But it's a huge problem. And it would be very interesting to know, like, how long could you go with no work, but still like live in your apartment and at least eat enough that you're not starving? Let's just put that those are the criteria. We will forget the car. So no car involved, just apartment and food. How long could you go before you're on the street? That would be so interesting. Please, maybe someone knows. Maybe someone has either watched something or knows somebody. Maybe some data would be cool. That would be really, really interesting.
You enjoy the money that you earn or no? Because we can. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of work, so this is the third slide. Speaking of work, sick time. Never heard of her. Yeah. You have sick time. You don't need to earn or accrue sick time. You also don't have a limited amount of sick days. If you're sick and can't work, you get paid. Every European I have spoken to is upheld at American sick time. I mean, yes, you don't have a limit technically, but companies, of course, will look over that, right? So I heard some couple things. Not the best ones, but still technically you have no limited amount of it. If there's some chronic issues, you will be taken care like by the healthcare system, and so you can't fake it. So don't think you can fake it, because for example, when I was, like I said, I was sick for 10 months, and I think in my 8th month, the health insurance just wanted to have like a proper document, so they sent me to a doctor that I never met before. It's like a doctor specifically for the health insurance, and they do a separate testing with you and like talk to you and see if like what is wrong, what is wrong, why you still can't go back to the workforce. It's just a normal interview, like a normal talk, like some normal testings. And the doctor I went to, he was very nice, and it was just clear to him after the testing and the talking that it's just a matter of time, and this is what was sent to the health insurance, and they were satisfied with that, and I still got 2 more months paid sick time, basically. So you can't fake it. There will be mechanisms where the health insurance will like, hey, we're just curious how it's going, because they also collect all the data. So they also saw all the therapy tries I did, and I tried a lot with the doctors I visited. I was at 5 doctors. Okay, listen, Americans. Listen. For my 10 months, okay? I know this will sound super crazy now, but I will still say for my 10 months of sick time, in total, I went to 5 doctors. plus the one extra for the health insurance, so 6 doctors. One was a hand specialist. I got 3 therapies, like a physical therapies, to try to help my case. I got 2 extra therapies where they're massaging my hands because my hands were kind of not working anymore, basically. So I got that. Additionally, I had 2 MRTs, which are probably very expensive in Europe. And I also had like regular checkups with the doctors, just talking, just testing, seeing how it's going, like normal talks. And I also know that those things cost money, especially with specialists, like a freaking hand surgery guy. I don't know the surgeon. I don't know the word. How would you say it? It's like he was working in a hospital. He's specialized in hand surgery, and he did the cortisone therapy with me. Okay, Americans, how much does that cost? How much would be 5 doctors, 1 additional doctor from health insurance, additional hand surgery person, in total 5 different therapy tries and a cortisone therapy on top? What would be my bill? That would be very interesting. I would probably make a pinned comment where you can just put some numbers in that. And I did not pay a single penny for everything that was done to me. Oh, the 2 MRTs, I forgot. 2 MRTs too. I did not pay a single penny. I did not pay anything. How much would be my bill in America? I probably would be on the street with that. Okay, next slide, maybe?
I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah.
If you take more than a couple days of sick leave, especially in today's day and age in America, you're gonna get fired.
Really? Is that normal? Is that normal that you get fired when you take off days? Okay, next slide. Within the first 6 months of moving to Ireland, I lost almost 50 pounds. And I was going to the gym and I eat healthy in the US, yet my weight wouldn't budge until I stepped foot in Europe and it melted off. This was also me picking outfits to go to Greece. Shout out to paid holidays again. She just, in 6 months, that is incredible. I mean, yeah, like usually I know you guys drive a lot in America, right? And I know there are like, the word is food desert or grocery desert, because there's like no grocery store around. You only have fast food restaurants around you, stuff like that. I know that it's a thing, but I did not know that it's so bad. And I don't know how much she tried in those 6 months. We do not have data for that from her personally, but it is incredible. I'm very happy for her that she just lost so much weight. Really cool. But maybe also shows that it's a bigger problem in the US that we probably might be even grasping at this moment. So yeah, I hope it will get better. So because people deserve to be healthy without selling a kidney, okay?
Let's get into this. Let's get into this.
Oh,
My first travel
now I'm curious what you will say. Germany!
I ate so much. Now I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
Right? For my European peoples, I am 192 centimeters.
That is very
and
tall.
I'm about 121 kg.
I mean, he is very muscular and he is very tall, so I don't even... Like, he doesn't look overweight, okay? He doesn't look overweight at all.
So I'm a big ass dude. You feel me? Now, I was heavier than that when I went to Germany for my first time. I was like pushing like 126, 127 kg. However, I remember when I traveled to Germany, I ate probably more than I did usually for the first week, right? And I lost 7 kilograms, 7 kilos in 1 week eating.
How? Did he had a lot of water weight that just got flushed out?
stuffing my face stupid, eating junk food, drinking beer. Guess what? 3 things I noticed immediately. I had 0 bloating when I ate the food over there. I don't have any skin issues as is, but my skin was glowing out there. I don't know how. And I lost a bunch of weight. Damn near 14, 15 pounds in 1 week eating as much as I was eating because my body was just not used to having food that was that good for me. You know, the United States, like, oh my gosh, we have so many.
I mean, you can eat very badly here. That's not a secret, but that is really good, actually. Good for him.
Different chemicals and things in our food. It's wild.
I do be still a bit concerned with the 7 kilogram in 1 week, but still, if he lost weight, good for him. So the next slide of this food, the food hit different. I felt like I could indulge in the not so healthy foods and still not feel crappy after. Also had so much more access to fresh local foods. That is the thing what you have here. You can just go to supermarkets by foot. So you have a slight more normal body movement. You get groceries. I mean, yes, it do be compared to before the pandudu, right? So before 2020, it was way cheaper, so the prices did increase. But you can still buy fresh local food without going bankrupt, okay? It's still possible. Like local markets, mwah, chef's kiss.
This is another point that I wanted to get into as well. I'll just touch on this briefly. Like I mentioned previously, just like a few minutes ago, the same food that I was eating, the junk food in Europe that contributed to my weight loss was the same food that I would eat and I didn't feel bad. I was expecting my...
That is interesting though, because like when I eat fast food, which I rarely do, because I just don't go outside, and we don't have that much delivery services here in the rural Austrian countryside. I feel a bit like I ate a stone, but maybe compared to the American fast food type of food, it was still way better for him. So I get that. Maybe it was just hitting different.
My stomach to go acrobatic on, do backflips, hit splits, all kind of craziness. No, not at all. In fact, my stomach felt fine.
Okay, next slide is the ability to travel. It's so much easier to travel in Europe. It's easy to get time off of work, and you can get flights to different countries for under $50. Being able to experience so many different cultures through traveling opened my eyes up to the world. I mean, okay, I never been in America. Please forgive me my stupid question. Is it the different states in America, are they like all the same with just slight differences? Or is it like for example, like I just know a couple places. Like let's say I'm going to New York, I'm going to Florida, and I'm going to LA. How big of cultural differences will I experience? Because, for example, I live in Austria right now. If I go to Bavaria, I have the full Bavarian, typical mainstream German experience. I could also go to France. It's not that far away. To have some, I don't know, baguette. I could also go south to Italy and have some really nice fish and sitting at the ocean after a couple hours of driving. And I also could go to the right, which is more Austria, but like if I just do a little dippy, I think where am I? I'm so bad at geography. It's a different country. So probably with like 5 hours maximum of driving. I mean, yeah, I'm living in a country where there's like a lot of countries around it, but still, it doesn't sound too bad, I would say. And I don't know, like, how far can you go with 5 hours of driving? Like, how much culture can you experience when you drive 5 hours? This would be like a really nice question for Americans too, to just understand each other, to that I can learn something, and maybe we can share some experiences as well. That would be really, really cool. Because I know New York, Florida, and LA are not even close together. They're so far away. Like, I don't even know how far, but how many hours would you need to travel to, for example, from New York to Florida by car? That would be That would be so cool to talk about. So please reach me out in the comment sections. I'm really curious. I'm really curious to learn. I never been there, and it's just very nice to just talk to the common people, the so normal people that live there, because those are the real experiences that I actually want to hear and know about.
When I
The
first
music.
heard about traveling around Europe,
Yeah.
it did not compute for me. How are these countries in Europe so close? But if you make the
Because they're very small.
analogy, if the United States and Europe were side by side, it'd be the equivalent of you being able to travel from New York to California. Now, granted, traveling from New York to California gonna cost you a lot of fucking money.
Really? How much would that be?
That
Like
shit gonna
now?
cost you probably $700-800 for a plane ticket. But in the same breath, in Europe, pretty much anywhere, it's maybe a couple $100, maybe like 50 to a couple $100.
I mean, probably the prices are different now. Like, how old is that video? Let me see. Okay, 1 month. I don't know. I don't fly a lot. I'm not very big of a fan of those metal birds, so I don't know the prices, but probably I know when you go from Germany to Mallorca, which is like the secret state of Germany, it's not that much actually. And it's like summer beach and everything. But yeah, that doesn't cost that much, and you have to fly because it's an island. So yeah. I get it. But I did not know it's so expensive to go from one place to another in America.
I haven't heard anybody say it was expensive to travel from any part of Europe to another part of Europe, which is
Yeah, for example, like me, I just need 5 hours of car driving. I mean, yeah, the gas is a bit more pricey right now, and having a car is fairly pricey. So I don't have one. But even with a train ticket, for example, I'm going to Germany to visit my family, and my train ticket, the more expensive one was $60 for one way. So for one way. So in total, I paid €126 to travel to my family and back home, and to visit my friends and be a bit more mobile. And in Germany, I'm buying the €49 train ticket where you can use the buses, like all buses and all regional trains, which is more than enough for me to get around. For €49. So I have like 1 week of completely covering my all my traveling in Germany. And from Austria to go back and forth, it's just 124, 26, something like that. So I think it's like a very good price, to be honest. And yeah, I just get around a lot then.
is very interesting when you think about it. And I was like, dang, it's really like that? I need to live in Europe for a little bit. Now that we've gotten through all of that, let's go ahead and take a
Also, I take the train, right? So I think I don't know, how common is it to travel a bit of a longer distance by train in America? That would also be interesting. Like, do you have, I really don't know. Like, I feel so stupid right now, but it's okay. How could I know? Because I never heard about it before, and it's not like very popular topic that gets flushed into my algorithm. But I'm not talking about like the train system in big cities like New York City. More like if you want to travel a bit further, like out of town and stuff like that. How's that working?
look
That would
at
be
our
interesting.
comments. I'm thinking of doing the reverse of this. Things that shook me after moving back to the States.
Oh,
and
boy.
I'm telling you right now, we would love to see it. I think a recent thing I've been indulging in, right, within the last like 5-6 months are Americans that travel abroad. It could be anywhere, and then travel back to the United States, and they make videos on reverse culture shocks. To
Oh, that's also interesting. Maybe there's a video about that too.
me, that is like peak entertainment because the mind shift that they go through is insane. And it's almost like the exact same awakening that everybody gets when they leave the United States and they come back. Now, no hate to the United States, but there's a lot more to the world than the United States. And the United States right now is kind of cooked. There's a lot going on, and we're like, come on, man.
And those are things that are not unachievable in the long term, right? So those are all things you could technically achieve because they're working in other parts of the world. So it is possible. But it's tied to other requirements that have to be met, and people have to, let's say, allow it, basically, right?
But seeing the world for what it is, very, very vast, so many different cultures, so many different perspectives and ways of life, it will change you. It will literally change you as a person if you indulge in traveling. Issues that you think are massive issues are non-issues. You become less full of yourself for sure, because you have to be mindful of how you behave, and you'll just figure out that you have to be mindful. Like initially, you know, some people may ignore your behavior, but if you travel enough, you'll find that you will be very much inconvenienced if you continue behaving in a way that is disrespectful to the locals. And especially if
that should not be a thing at any point anyway. So please do not be like that. If you go to other places, please respect the people. Maybe try to say a couple of words. You have a phone, you have all the technology you need to speak a little bit of a different language. Like, for example, when I was in Italy, I was so proud of me because after a week, I was able to order something in a store, like in the local store, for like delicacies and bread. And I was able to, I needed help with my phone, but I was able to say it out loud, and the people understood me, and I was very proud of myself. And that was just after 1 week, right? Who knows, like when you live abroad for, like, let's say a year, how much you can learn and can evolve. So please never be ignorant. And if you go to a different country, try to experience as much as you can from this country, like the food, the people, the typical hobbies, the typical activities, how the language, right? That is so well, like so much more worth than, oh yeah, I just wanted to be like America, or I just wanted to be like Germany, because Germans do also do that. They also complain if they don't get their German bread, dude. Not everybody, but a lot of them. The casual ones.
you're not aware of your surroundings and whatnot. I'll put it this way, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but I'm pretty sure you guys can tell the difference between an American that is well-traveled and an American that's not. Two entirely different
Most
mindsets.
likely.
I'm very curious
Most
to hear you
likely.
guys' stories or takes on that in the comments down below.
Yeah, most
the weight
likely.
loss is so real. Similar situation
Really?
here in the Netherlands.
That is really cool, actually. It's so good that people get a bit healthier, lose some weight, because it's really not good for your body.
I'm telling you, hey, for my Americans watching this video, if you're trying to lose that weight, you've been
Just go to
struggling to lose that,
Europe.
20 to 50 pounds, you need to take your goofy butt on over to Europe. You know what I'm saying? You can eat whatever you want, do whatever you want.
It's not that so please don't get me wrong. If people are like, yeah, but Germany or like Europe also has a obesity epidemic. Yes, we have that, but our food's still different, and it's not, I probably think it's not as bad, but you can correct me. I don't have the like recent data, but it's not as bad as in America. Like in terms of percentage, right? So it is a problem everywhere. It's a problem around the world. I will give you that, but it's still, I think, the food quality, by all the regulations from the European Union, is helping a lot with staying more healthy with just food choices, right?
And you will lose weight, because I promise you, they have a way more active lifestyle out there than
And
we
that
do in the United
active
States, based
lifestyle
on how
comes
everything
to
is
play as
structured.
well.
So I'm telling you, that's the way to go. That's the way, and you'll feel so much better. There was a video I saw a while ago of this lady that traveled to Europe, and not only did she lose weight, but she said her acne was completely eradicated, her bloating was completely gone, and she genuinely felt incredible. But when she traveled back to the States, she made another video on a reverse culture shock she experienced, and she realized that the bloating she was experiencing and the acne that returned and the hormonal imbalances and stuff like that, whatever, had everything to do with the food she was eating in the United States versus the food she was eating in Europe.
That is so interesting and so sad that it is like that.
So that's a very real thing. I don't think people understand that until they get to experience it firsthand. In fact, I have an interesting question for my European viewers watching this right now. Have you traveled to the United States?
No.
And I know we got some good food out there. We do have some delicious food. It might not be the healthiest, but we got some good food out there. What was your body's reaction to the food that we had in the United States?
That would be interesting. Maybe we have some people here which can answer it. I can't. I never traveled there, so I don't know.
Any kind of food, dessert, or any other food type in America if you've traveled out to the United States before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's another one. 3 realizations I had moving back to the USA after living in Europe for 4 years. Uh-oh. We are taught in the USA that time off of work is a privilege and something to be earned over years being dedicated to a company. That 2 or even 3 weeks of vacation is great. The mindset towards this is totally different in Europe. Time off is seen as an absolute right. The EU requires a full-time workers to get 20 paid days off minimum per year. Most people have even more. I didn't know it's like a privilege. Like, let's say you have to work. How long do you have to work for a company? I know it varies per company, but like, is there like an average amount? How much you have to work there to get like paid time off? Even if it's just like 5 days or something? That would be interesting. I mean, so many interesting topics to dive into. Oh my. Oh my. Next slide.
Yeah, this is a very true statement. In this post, I actually made a video that you guys have probably seen a few weeks ago. And there was a CEO of a company that this lady was applying to. And he was saying that if you want to excel in the company and have even a micro shot at being promoted, time off is not going to be a thing at all.
Really? Man, we here, okay, listen. So time off there apparently is like a rare thing. Or like if you want to achieve something, you are not allowed to take it or do it. Here, the HR department is up your ass if you do not take your days off, because then the company is getting beaten up by the government. Basically. That is how strict it is. It is by law. You have days off, right? You have to take them. There, you cannot take them. It's very, very bad practice if you don't let your workers let them take the days off. Jesus Christ, I can't speak anymore.
Like, bare minimum, you should be working 40 hours a week, but everybody works like 50 to 80 hours a week.
Oh my God. Like, without vacation?
And time off for that company was a sign of laziness. That's actually a very common mentality in a lot of corporate America. That is a thing. Not sure how.
Okay, that's I don't know how to say this, but it sounds like slavery.
Often you guys have heard of that.
I hope you didn't understand, but I hope you did.
Time off, people are going to look at you like you're a slacker, and it's very unfortunate.
Okay, next slide. We are such an individualistic society in the USA in so many ways. Most of the time, we have a not my problem mindset. We don't prioritize taking care of each other. Furthermore, we don't look at being social as a crucial aspect of well-being. Spending time with friends, family, and being social is looked at as essential in many European countries. When living in Europe, I would see friends multiple times a week. In the USA, I'm lucky if I see my friends once a month. Is it really like that? I don't know. Like for me, it's like back in my hometown in Germany, before I moved to Austria, it was very normal to visit your friends every couple days, or like at least call them, or just go out for a cafe or coffee. That was very normal. I did that like twice a week or something. So every couple days I had some, or like I visited my parents, I helped them in the garden, or we just together went grocery shopping. My mom is like, Lina, I'm gonna grocery shop. Do you want a ride? Do you want to come with me? We can do it together. Do you need something? Or they just came to visit to pet the cats. Yeah, it's like very close, super normal. Is it not like that in the US? I'm a bit confused. Is that not normal to have or to do? I'm not quite sure. I mean, with the amount of work you do,
This is a very
probably
interesting
not that
observation
much
I've
time
heard a
for
few
it.
times. And I think it's interesting because I've heard mixed opinions on this. But for the most part, this is very accurate. Grind set is the mindset. And America, we are all about ourselves. We're very individualistic. That is very true. The way that the system is set up is everybody has to grind to get their piece, right? You have to grind to provide for your family, friends, whatever. But then the
Is that the American dream? Hmm?
companies that you're working under to provide, right? Milk the hell out of you. I've never resonated with the term working like a dog until I got into the workforce. And I'm like, oh my God.
Okay.
I think I understand what they're talking about.
That's very
It
sad,
is very
though.
interesting. Very, very, very
It's
interesting.
sad.
And because of that, you do see a larger amount of Americans that are out of touch with their families, out of touch with their friends, the older they get, because of course they are acquiring more jobs, they're accelerating in their work and whatnot. And because they're accelerating in their work, they have to work more, they have to work longer hours. That's more time.
And then they can't take a day off because then they don't get the promotion. Yada, yada, yada. It is a spiral into the negative field for me personally. Of course, I know Americans who are just used to that might think differently. But for me as a European, it is just bad. Straight up bad.
Time away from their families and friends, and it is unfortunate.
Oh wait, there's another slide. The family unit is constantly being preached about in the USA, yet barely any support is given to them. The USA is the only first world country that doesn't guarantee paid maternity leave. Is that when women are pregnant? I don't know the word. I think so. Oh yeah, it is. Women are given so much more care and maternity leave in Europe. Patent, I can't say that word, man. It's becoming quite normal as well. The cost of childcare is also less. Yeah, and you don't have. I saw a TikTok, I think a couple days ago, where a woman said, my newborn child got its first invoice of $9,000 because it was born, basically. I think that is what the woman said. And she also showed the papers into the camera. Imagine you are giving birth to your newborn child, and then the child is getting an invoice because it was born from the invoice is from the hospital. I don't understand how this can be even normal. And then the world is crying. It's not even America or Germany. Like in Germany, there's also a declining birth rate. It's also in Japan. It's also in Russia. It's everywhere. Like specifically in America or in countries where you have to pay for that. Like, who gonna pay for that? Who is gonna pay for this money that you can have more kids? Of course, people are thinking more how they could not have kids if they are just going bankrupt giving birth. I don't understand that.
Yeah, America's in turmoil when it comes to this topic, man. We have a lot of people in the United States, a lot of politicians that preach about the family values, the value of, raising a family, having as many kids as possible, no matter what. Right?
I heard about that, yeah.
Yet, the same people in power in the government are not offering any aid for the people who are having these children and these families and whatnot. It's literally a liability to have a family in this day and age, with the economy being the way it is, the job opportunities being what they are right now currently, and
very bad.
the cost of
everything is very bad
right now in the United States alone. It is not worth it to have a family. So let's get into these.
And that is okay. If people decide because of that they cannot afford it, that is okay. They should not be bashed for it for that. But I know there's a lot of bashing if people are openly saying, yeah, we do not want to have kids because we can't afford them, or we don't want to take care of them, we don't think we're ready. That is all okay. And that, like, why should you ruin your life because someone is forcing you to have a child, right?
Comments. This first comment here is real as fuck, as it says, we can't see our friends during the week because we're working 11-hour days.
Is that normal? I think that's not even allowed here in Austria. I think you have a maximum of 10 hours by law.
That is the reality we live in. I will say I did watch a clip from...
And you have to take specific amounts of breaks in this 10 hours. Otherwise, the company also will be in trouble if they don't give you the breaks. Like, for example, when I work sometimes I only work like a 2/3 day, basically. So I start at 8 and then I just stop at around 3. At 3 p.m. So 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I have a 30-minute break. If I would just work from 8 to 4 p.m. already, I have to take an hour of a break. Otherwise, my team leader will be in trouble. Otherwise, she will get bashed if I do not take more breaking time.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he made a very good point. Like, America has a lot of really cool things about it, right? One of the biggest things I always preach is, despite all of our problems, right, all of our issues, we have a bunch of issues in America, but still, I would even venture to say to this day, with what's happening, it still is a place where people can build themselves an incredible amount of wealth from nothing. If you play your cards the right way, you absolutely can. And it's interesting. It's very interesting. Now, we make shit tons of mistakes, and there are a lot of things we have not gotten right, but I do think that is one thing I can say to this day that still remains to be true. But this next comment,
that's fair.
Oh, sorry about that. Camera died, so small time skip there.
That's
but
okay.
Our comment here says, as French, I would feel so empty without the emotional intimacy I share with my friends. I can't imagine my life without it. And
I also heard that for French people, it's fairly important to eat with their family if they're still living at home, for example. I don't know because I don't live there. I don't know many French people, but it's something I just heard in other content that I watched. That's very nice. Like, eating is like a very nice social thing in France, and that is kind of sweet.
Definitely can understand that sentiment, but for some reason, I guess America's society is designed to butcher and destroy close relationships, unless you've found a very unique balance where you're able to work at a point where it's not too overwhelming, which is very, very, very privileged and damn near impossible. You can balance your family life to some degree. Next post.
That should not be a privilege, though. Another slide. What took me way too long to get used in Italy? Clueless American Living Abroad edition. Okay. Let's see. Wine rules. It's Italy. Their vino goes well with everything, obviously. So please don't make a scene when you get a glass with your breakfast. Yeah. If you're up for that, like if you like wine per se, okay. Not my thing.
Now, this is something I can get behind. For those that don't know, preferably, I definitely do like wine over every other type of remote alcoholic beverage. I just like the way it tastes. And so, all I knew was a reason to have it for breakfast. Oh my goodness. Yum, yum, yum.
He's so happy.
I didn't know that there were certain wines you can pair with breakfast, but come to think of it, there are wines you can pair with literally every meal and different types of foods and whatnot. So for my wine drinkers in the comment section, what is your favorite wine and why? Let me know in the comments down below. I favor dessert wine right now, but I also love dry red wine. Let me know. I would love to hear what you guys
more to you. If I don't drink it, more to you. Holy siesta. Napping from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. is mandatory here. no, but really cities get empty during these hours to try to be less noisy. I noticed that as well when I was there, that because like usually the heat is start to rise in this amount of time, and then people are just in the shade, they're resting, which is good because you can't overheat them. I mean, yes, of course there are people who do not do that, and like construction workers, we don't open that bottle. But overall, I noticed the same when I was there on vacation, that during this time, not many people are outside. Everything is more quiet overall. The internet is worse because then more people use the internet because they're on their phone. And then after it got busy again, and into the late nights with the restaurants and like people going out, meeting each other. That was mostly they did that after work and in when it's cooler in the nighttime, so they can just hang out and enjoy themselves together. Notice the same.
As we've mentioned before, the siestas in Italy are insane. 1 to 3 p.m. is exactly what I was told. Very
It's a good
interesting.
napping
What's
time.
that life like for my peoples that live in Italy? Like, what do you do in that time period? Do you take a nap? Do you genuinely go and talk to family? Like, what do you
Maybe,
do?
or eating together even. Speedy walkers. The Italians know how to enjoy the slow life, but they can't stand people in a hurry here. So embrace your inner grandma pace to avoid those stairs. Yeah, just comfortably walk around, enjoy the scenery. And specifically in Italy, like if there's a nice breeze, the air smells so nice. Just enjoy your time and like be more cautious about your surroundings overall, probably, because that gives you something. That was really interesting in Italy, I have to say. Maybe because I just went out a lot. Like here at home, I don't notice it that much because I'm just at home.
Hey,
Right.
this is real different because Germany is the complete opposite of Italy when it comes to this theory right here. I think
very
Germany
true.
people want you to get to where you're trying to get to in a hurry for the
Yeah.
most part. Italy
Just get over
seems
it.
like the other end of the spectrum of chill. Like everybody's like relax, lay back, chillax. Don't do too much. Just genuinely enjoy your surroundings and don't move too much. I walk very fast in general, but I didn't think I'd be judged for it. Another interesting take. I never even thought to look at it
I mean, we walked very comfortably when we were there.
that way. Again, this is another ideology where you can just sit and genuinely enjoy your surroundings, and I'm here for it.
Okay, bloating hacks. With all the tasty pasta and pizza, they had to master those. I learned that the Sicilian way to always have that runaways look is colostrum post meal. I don't know what those words mean. So what are you drinking when you're bloating? Bloated? Milk? What is that?
So this is my first time ever hearing about colostrum. I don't even know what that is.
Thank you. I now feel less stupid.
But I guess I'm gonna start taking that.
Okay, what is that? Bovine colostrum. Miracle Moo. It has to be either raw or organic. I tried plenty, but this one really clicked to me. Literally makes me feel so much slimmer. I don't know what that is. Like a milk powder? Time to go to Italy. It's just a couple hours.
Miracle Moo. How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah. I need to look that up, actually. I'll need to look that up after the video. This one's basic, but had to be said. Cappuccinos, just a breakfast drink. Never order it after 10 a.m. because it's a big no-no. I don't know about that, but mostly I have my coffee in the morning anyway, so. Looks very nice. Very nice picture.
All right. This last one right here is interesting.
Okay.
I did not know this.
I
have
also
freshly entered the coffee scene. I didn't know cappuccinos were breakfast coffees. I didn't know what the difference between a cappuccino or Americano was. I know what the difference between an espresso and them things are, but I don't know. But let's go ahead and take a look at these comments. There is no way to ethically collect colostrum, by the way. Would not recommend drinking it.
Oh, really?
All colostrum that is collected directly contributes to animal cruelty. Interesting comment. 12 a.m. So yeah, that comment was interesting. She said if you order a coffee after 12 a.m., then you'll get some crazy stares. If you order a cappuccino after 12 a.m., I think she meant 12 p.m. But still, either way, is that really a thing in Italy? If you order a cappuccino after 12 p.m., people look at you weird. I could see that being a thing, but I didn't know that.
And I said, just go get
Eating in silence because Americans in Europe are dinner with a show. Uh-oh.
a vasectomy. Anyway, so we're going around the islands on that tour, you know, the tour, and we missed the cruise by 5 minutes. There you are. Hey, you guys got any espresso martinis?
Oh, no.
Nothing really needs to be said about this one besides the fact that we are very entertaining. I'm a loud individual. I have been very loud in public before, and I'm pretty sure I put on a masterpiece of a performance in front of a lot of people at some point in time. I've become very, very, very aware of my volume since then because I do know that people are listening, and it is very interesting. Also, to add to that, I also find it very interesting being here in Korea. Now, for those that are new to my channel, a large portion of what you'll see on my channel is me obsessing over Germany. I love Germany. Love the country. I'm trying to learn how to speak German a lot better than I can now. I understand it very well. And that leads me into a tiny story time. I went to an aquarium here in Korea, and there were some German tourists. And I was like, you know, sitting down, admiring like the, you know, fish and whatnot. And they were talking about like a couple that was on the other side of me. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was kind of weird being able to understand everything they were saying, but they were like playfully cracking jokes. They weren't really being mean. And in my head the entire time is like, whoa, this is like a new special ability. Like I can hear German and English and understand it. That's insane to me. But I mean,
And it's so cute that it's just so adorable to see his reaction because he learned this new skill. This is so cute. Like for like usually it's normal for Europeans to have their mother tongue and then English as an addition at minimum for like being able to travel around and stuff like that. And some people even learn a third or fourth language, and this is normal. This is very normal here, and I know it's not like this if you are in America because you can just speak the American English, right? That is very fascinating, and it makes me so happy to see him being like proud of his new skill. It's so cute.
in Korea,
Really
so I should be
cool.
learning more Korean.
Really cool. Oh boy, 20 things in Europe that trigger Americans. Oh my lord, let's go. Paying for water. Yes, I get that. I get that. It shouldn't. So tap water should actually be for free. It's my personal opinion.
This is like up there on the top of the list of things that trigger Americans, man. Paying for water, that had me all the way messed up. Now, I heard about it before I went to Germany.
Like tap water.
But what I'm
If it's bottled water, yes, the restaurants have to pay for the bottle. But if it's tap water, that should not cost a penny.
hearing unanimously from you guys is you don't have to pay for tap water, but sparkling water is a standard in Europe. It feels like it's a standard. So you do have to pay for water, meaning sparkling water. Now you have to specifically request tap water. That's the difference between Europe and the United States.
Eating pizza with fork and knife. Wait, who's triggered? I do that sometimes.
You
Depending
can eat
on
it with your hands, okay? Especially for how thin the pizza is in Italy. All right, it is thin. I think that's just
very
meant to be a
thin, very
hand
delicious.
food. I always think it's so cursed when I see people eat pizza.
I should make pizza dough too, so I can eat pizza this weekend. Also, when you make pizza dough, let it ferment for at least 5 days in the fridge. The dough tastes so much better when you make the pizza than out of it. Pro tip.
With a fork and knife. Like,
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Water bottle caps are stuck on. This is not very standard. It became recently a thing, and I don't know anybody who likes that. I don't know anyone who likes this, and we all hate it, but it's something we have to live with.
Okay, I can get with this. The water bottle with the caps stuck on was kind of annoying, but it's like a very, very minor inconvenience. So I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. But I think that was a recent change within the last, like, what, 4 or 5 years?
No, I think even
I do
more
think
recent.
this is very
I did not read it.
That's like, what, 4 or 5 years?
What was that? Small portion sizes are better.
I do think this is very dependent on where you're at in Europe. Small portion sizes, that was not what I experienced in Germany.
And you have to think about, like, in America, the portion sizes are always a bit bigger. At least that's what the cliche is about it, right? So of course, if you are an American and you go to Europe, the portion sizes will look way different for you, or like feel even different for you. So we have to keep that in mind as well. Ah, cheese. Some good Kaspätzle.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just put it in. Yes. Good job.
I can try. This is so good.
It's really good.
This is so good.
It's really
This
good.
is so good.
Yeah. One of my favorites
like
here.
the flakes and stuff on top, and then the
I want to learn how to make it from scratch without a specific gadget to make the pasta for it. So it will take a bit of time.
whatever the garnish is in here, fire. And the cheese, bro, oh, the cheese. Wasn't what I experienced in the Netherlands, and definitely was not what I experienced in Belgium. So now, are the portion sizes smaller than America? Again, that just depends on where you eat at, because for the most part, I felt like I got a lot of food for what I paid.
No ice.
Oh my
there
God,
we go.
Bro. When are we gonna let this no ice thing
Yeah,
go,
we had
bro?
that one already.
I beat that into the ground. No ice. Come on, we gonna have to let that one go.
No refrigerating eggs. Yeah, because you don't have to specifically. You can, but you don't have to. Like, they also can go quite long without being refrigerated.
Now, the non-refrigerated eggs, that was something that never really bothered me. I never questioned it, but the way that the eggs are pasteurized, or the lack thereof, has everything to do with how they turn out. And I'm all for the eggs not being refrigerated. I just like them being cold first. I'm like a creature of habit, even though when I get my eggs now, they're not refrigerated. I buy them and they're not refrigerated, and the first place I put them is in the fridge, mainly to save space.
Doing alcohol with
I don't think this is a problem. I think in America we do the same thing, but instead of wine, it's usually a beer.
Rocky Road.
Rocky roads definitely mess me up a little bit, not gonna lie.
They mess me up too because I have those barefoot shoes, so I feel every damn rock. I really love those shoes. I don't want to use anything else, but I do be very careful on rocky roads how fast and where to step on. It is a hurdle, but I live with it because I love my shoes.
I walked a bunch in Germany. Cobblestone was everywhere. My feet hurt a lot, but I was also getting like 30,000 to 60,000 steps in every single day.
That is a lot. Warm beer.
The fuck do you mean warm beer?
No elevators?
That was a little different too. Elevators are hit or miss in Europe from what I've seen. Like, some buildings will have them. Most places don't really. You'll have escalators in malls, but then in apartment buildings, it's stairs. Actually,
mostly because, like, usually the apartment buildings are a bit older and people did not put an elevator in there for the thing. So it is not unusual.
Every single apartment building that had multiple floors only had stairs. Now, out of, let's say, there were a bunch of friends I wanted to visit that lived in apartment buildings. So let's say if I visited 30 different apartments, there were probably 2 apartments that had elevators.
Having no dryer.
This one was interesting
not
too.
Having a dryer.
Having a dryer. Now, I understand why Europeans look fresher than most Americans, because your stuff doesn't look dingy and faded and whatnot.
Wait, did dryer do that? I don't know because I never have one. I just know it's bad for clothing. It's bad for the fabric, but I don't know why. But I never grew up with having one. And for me, it's like not needed. So, like I did the laundry earlier, and now it's on the drying rack, and it's just drying, and I don't have to take care of it. I just have to put it down later again. So,
When you
it's
dry
so
your
normal.
clothes, you preserve the colors and the material of
Mm-hmm.
your laundry. Unfortunately, I damage my clothes and I dry them all the time with a dryer.
The customer is not always right mentality. Yeah, because that's the truth. Like, you cannot be an asshole and demand all the things, even though you don't have the right to that. Like the house where you are in, like the store, the restaurant, whatever, they at the end of the day can still say, "Hey, get out. You're not allowed to come back." And nobody will make a fuss about it. Like you can't just go on TikTok and complain because people will be like, "Yeah, what did you do to get kicked out, man?"
This one is based. Okay, every American going over to Europe has encountered this at least once. The customer is not always right.
Yeah.
And in America,
You have to be a normal human, treating normal humans normally. Jesus Christ. And I work retail. I know what I'm talking about, okay?
you're trained to understand that the customer is always right. In Europe, everybody gets paid a good wage. So don't you think for a split second that you can talk to the people that work at any establishment crazy.
Yeah. Only being able to get fresh produce that's in season.
This is cool. I actually do like this a lot. Only being able to get fresh produce that's in season, I'm in full support of that.
Cafes having no to-go coffee. A lot of places have.
Now this I did not know. Cafes don't have to-go coffee? Where?
No,
Every place
I don't think I ever been in one cafe that did not have that.
I've been to in Europe had to-go coffee. Typically though, if you're going to a cafe, you want to sit down and enjoy your coffee.
Smoking everywhere.
All right, this one is interesting. Y'all be smoking like it's the 50s, okay? I saw damn near, okay, Korea, I understand. There's a pollution problem
They
here.
also
if you
have
travel
that, yeah.
around and you see a gray haze over everything, it's because pollution that is being produced in Korea and the yellow dust coming from China combined, it makes for very unhealthy levels of pollution. But in Germany, although the air is very clean, in Europe in general, the air is very clean. Yeah, y'all smoke like it's the 1950s out there. I mean, half the people, just use the vapes, which is cool. But
I mean, I don't know about that. I don't smoke, so I don't know how bad it actually is, and I also don't look at statistics for it though.
then a lot of you guys just prefer classic cigarettes or cigars, and I'm like, God dang.
Wait, what?
Cigarettes or cigars, and I'm like, God dang.
Big open windows with no safety features. Yeah, because usually you don't need that. You don't need that. Like right now, all the windows are open to extent where my cats cannot run away. Like they can't get out, but all the windows are open, no problem.
Okay, the big open windows, you do have those in the United States with safety features because we're dumb.
And then you still have the pew-pews. So do they really help the safety features? Neutral colors. Yeah, no. Isn't the beige aesthetic also a big thing in America?
Okay, I don't understand how neutral colors would trigger Americans. I think you guys are used to seeing us wearing bright, poppy, wild colors, which is what I do for sure. But neutral colors to me just screams very professional, very well kept, and that's great.
Using paper napkins. Okay, what?
This one had me messed up a little bit. You guys not using paper napkins, you guys use cloth. I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah, a couple places use cloths, and it comes back to a trend for reducing waste and stuff like that. So you can just wash those cloths.
Oh, my God. Like, you don't just throw your napkins away when you're done. You keep them because they're cloth. Oh, Lord.
Simple menus. I like that.
Hey, look, one thing I did love about Europe, to this day, is the simple menus. I love it. You don't have to have 1,000 options. I actually don't like the fact that a lot of menus in America, we have too many.
That's a better frame. So when I go to restaurants and they have a variety of food, let's say you go to it's claimed being an Italian restaurant, right? But then they also have a various Asian dishes, a various of burgers, a variety of, I don't know, like not typically Italian food. Then I'm already a bit guessing that maybe they just focus on a broad variety, but how do you keep all that food fresh and to be like a good restaurant, right? So if it's not packaged or pre-made in terms of like from a factory pre-made, right? How good is the food quality of that restaurant then? So usually I prefer, for example, when I want to eat a pizza, to like a Italian place where they just have mainly pizza and a couple pasta options, like a couple salads, just being focused on that. Then I know, okay, they actually put effort into the menu for the specific country they want to represent. And if I want to say, let's say some Tyrolean dishes, I go to a traditional Tyrolean restaurant because I know the menus are smaller and they focus on higher quality and like proper preparing it, so it's like very authentic. And I prefer that way more than having like 200 options in a restaurant.
Options. Like, pick a specialty and stick to it. All right, so let's get to these comments. Okay, I'm from Europe, not the UK, and some of these things I personally don't like, or we don't do here either. And that's what I was thinking, because I'm like, there's no way that all of these apply to every European country.
No,
I
not
mean,
really.
all of them apply to some of the European countries, but not every one of them, right? So which ones apply to where you're from and which ones are not?
Oh, I don't remember anymore.
One of these things that give Americans the
I gave so much
also give
input,
you the
I don't
edge
remember
as well.
anymore.
I would love to know, because maybe there's some things that are pretty valid for criticism. Like, yeah, that isn't really something we vibe with too much. Warm beer?
Yeah, I don't know where that is coming from.
I was wondering that too. Who the fuck serves warm beer in
No.
Europe? Like,
No.
I don't know any place in Europe that would do that.
Never.
That's enough of us looking at these confused.
Thank you, James. It was a pleasure. I hope you liked too. It was the first video that we upload on the channel. Like I said, I watched a couple from him before. Always a good vibe, always very, very based and calm and reasonable. So yeah, go check out his stuff. He's a very cool dude. And I see you tomorrow. Be safe outside. Bye bye.